There's nothing like leaving Phoenix and heading into the middle of nowhere. The roads get quieter, the sky gets bigger, and I can actually feel my nervous system start to settle. I didn't come out here with some big plan. I just wanted a peaceful spot to camp with a friend for a few days. No noise and no chaos, just us and the desert. We were looking for a reset, just a chance at existing. We were not looking for any trouble. We're gonna go see Hazel, and Sparrow's gonna be able to play, and it's supposed to be really hot in the Phoenix area until the end of next week. So we're gonna go cool off in Payson until it cools off in Phoenix, and then we're gonna come back for some packages. Let's go. Tracy had already been camped out here for a few days, and I was just coming up to join her, hang out, camp together for a bit. She'd head out after a few days, and then I'd plan to stay a little longer, just me and Sparrow. Okay, we're going down a super noisy road, and everything in the back is rattling. Yep. But it's okay. Right, Sparrow?
No, I'm scared.
It's okay. Just look where we are. It's beautiful here. Look at over there. Mountains. Tracy always has me going in these crazy places. I love it. Gotta keep going. We're not there yet. But look at how beautiful it is out here. Oh my Lord. Okay, this is a little steep. Here we go. There's one of the campsites there. This is really pretty. Here's another campsite that somebody trashed because humans are evil and horrible. Beautiful view though, huh? There's some of the campsites here. Pretty nice. Like you can't argue with that, dude. That's absolutely gorgeous. I love this area. We're still going on this road. This road, we have to kind of crawl because of the bumps and the rocks and stuff. It's not so bad, it's just bumps. Look at the views. And there's Tracy. Look at the view. Gorgeous. We pulled into the spot and wow, just wide open space, stunning mountain views, and total silence. This was exactly what we needed. Nothing but peace, quiet, and the feeling that you finally landed somewhere that actually makes sense. Sparrow was happy to be out of the van, zooming around, sniffing everything, living his best life, and he was happy to see his tiny bestie Hazel again. Once we got settled in, we kept it simple, just two women enjoying public land the way it was meant to be. Free, respectful, off-grid, and legal. We spoiled our dogs and spent quiet moments in the sun with them. Sparrow had some off-leash time and we got to play with the ball. We made some delicious meals together. And we took in some incredible sunsets. This is the kind of camping that people romanticize. Just over here making some toast. And Sparrow's over there watching the cows. The cows would wander through camp on their way to the water trough, totally unbothered by us. And the dogs were surprisingly respectful. They didn't bark, no chasing, just quiet coexistence, like everyone understood the unspoken rules out here. We saw rangers pass by us a few times that week. They drove right by. They didn't stop. They didn't say anything. We weren't doing anything wrong. They knew we were here. One of the ranchers pulled up in a trailer with his horse and even walked through camp on horseback. He waved hello and walked on by, tending to his cattle. Saw a horned lizard. Hi. I almost stepped on him. And strange little bugs. Out here, it's the kind of quiet that sinks in deep. Just wide open skies, the sound of wind through the brush, and mountains that make you forget what day it is. It wasn't fancy, but it was real, and it was enough. And then Tracy left, and that's when everything changed. Because within hours of Tracy leaving, the rangers showed up at my camp.
I just wanted to let you know we do have cattle that are grazing. If you can move just a little bit further down so it doesn't impede the cattle getting to the water. There's I think it's a 300.
They've been coming in and out like with no problem. The dog already knows not to go near them.
Okay, but I am asking you if you could move just a little bit further down. You don't have to go too far down. Probably the next camp.
Is this without of the bounds?
Yes, it's
It
within a
is.
quarter
It
mile
is. Okay, good to know. Thank you.
of,
Okay.
water.
That's all you had to say. Okay, cool.
Sorry.
I got you.
Sometimes
I will move. Can you just give me like, it's probably going to take anywhere from half hour to an hour to get packed up and
no,
move.
not a problem.
Thank you so much.
You definitely have the time that you need to move, but
Perfect.
yeah, we just can't impede the
Gotcha.
cattle.
I didn't realize it was out of the bounds. Is there any going up?
There is a couple places going up that way, but they're about how far down is that going up the other way? Maybe about a half mile to a mile. Well,
Okay.
About a half mile.
Okay. And it's not like bad getting up there. I can drive up there. Okay.
You can drive up there.
Okay.
Yeah. that's
Okay.
fine.
No problem. Not a problem at all.
Thank you.
All right. Sparrow,
Yeah.
come on. I get the 300 feet rule, but we were well far away from 300 feet. It was more like 300 yards. And every campsite is actually about that close anyway to a water trough because all the campsites are the access points for the water troughs. You can see from the following footage, like the cows were coming and going just fine with no problem. The dogs knew to behave and stay with us because we train our dogs. There's also an app you can check. It's called OnX. ONX, and it's what hunters and ATVers use to like make sure they're not going on anyone's private land. And it shows the national forest boundaries and it shows the BLM boundaries. And we're still on that boundary. So they said quarter mile, but they were wrong. They were lying. They were making it up. I don't know, maybe one of the ranchers got like that we were that close because one of the cowboys did come on like in a horse and stuff. He came by a couple times, but he said hi. He wasn't mean or anything. He saw both of us camping there and we had been there for 5 days. No problems. It was so funny because like they waited until it was just one of us because Tracy had left that morning. So they waited to harass just one person instead of two, which is interesting. So I packed up all my stuff and I drove down the road and I found another campsite and that was fine. Except that every campsite in this area sits near a water trough. Some of them are even closer than 300 feet. Every single one. I double checked on the OnX app. We were well within the legal dispersed camping area, and the site we were at had clearly been used for years. The old fire ring, the packed ground, everything. But I couldn't find a single rule, not on the Tonto National Forest website, not in any official Forest Service guidelines, that actually says you can't camp near a trough, let alone that there's a 300-foot buffer. It's basic knowledge that you want to give that buffer of at least 100 to 200 feet. There's even guidelines on thedirt.com that say things like that. Just be respectful of the cattle. And we were camped well outside of that range. So either the ranger was mistaken or they were just making it up as an excuse to get me out of there. But we had seen them driving up and down the road multiple times in the same vehicle. They showed up in a black Jeep, a brand new one at that, with a National Forest emblem on the side of this Jeep. So why didn't they bother us the first 5 days we were there, if that was still the rule? This was like a brand new 2025 Jeep. It was nice. It had all really dark tinted windows. It had really big mud tires. I've never seen the National Forest have a vehicle like that before. They have historically had contracts with Ford and Chevy to use those two makes for National Forest vehicles. It just surprised me to see a Jeep, especially because they just got defunded and they had to fire all those workers for the National Forest, but yet they can afford a brand new 2025 Jeep. Not even a small one. I mean like a big, full-size, 4-door, massive Jeep. Like it was either a Sahara or a Rubicon. It was not a cheap vehicle. So yeah, we found a new campsite down the road. But the worst part wasn't being told to leave. It was how unnecessary it felt. We had been camped there for nearly a week. The rangers had driven past us multiple times. They knew we were there. And I found it odd that they waited until Tracy left to confront a single camper. It wasn't to check in. It wasn't to ask questions. It was just to say, you have to go. Even though I was in a legal dispersed area, I was over 300 feet from the trough, and I'd done everything right. The stress of packing up your entire life, not just a tent, but a whole home, just to move a mile down the road, it takes a toll. It meant that I had to stop working, stop resting, and start over again. And the new site, it had a water trough too. So what was the real reason they asked me to leave? The new spot was beautiful. It was quiet, Sparrow ran free, and for a moment it almost felt like peace again. But the feeling had changed at that point. I wasn't relaxed anymore. I was watching over my shoulder. And that feeling, it just stuck with me. Not just the move, but the message it sent. You could be following every rule and still be pushed out. You can be in the right and still feel wronged. You can be quietly existing and still be made to feel like a threat. I don't know why they really asked me to leave, but I do know this. They waited until I was alone. And after that, I didn't feel safe staying. So we packed up again and we drove back to Phoenix. I couldn't stop thinking about the bigger picture. This wasn't just about one ranger, one campsite, or one water trough. It was about a growing pattern that I felt creeping in. Van life used to feel like freedom. You had open space, public land, the ability to just be. But more and more, it feels like that freedom is being chipped away. There's regulations, closures, tickets, warnings, and sometimes if you're alone, intimidation. This whole experience made me think of that viral video I posted a while back about whether this is the future of van life. Not the dreamy travel vlog version, but the one where just existing quietly means you're seen as a threat. Listen, I'm not saying van life is over, but I am saying it's changing. I came here for peace, and I did find some. But I also found a reminder that even when you're following every rule, you still might have to move.